we are about to do some serious talking this morning, right? So we are going to talk about, can anyone really make money with an online course? Can anyone really make money with an online course? We're going to talk about how big the market is. We're going to talk about, can you make money? Who isn't going to make money? And what you need to do to actually make money. Sound fair? We'll cover all of that in the next like 10 minutes or so. So first things first, if you are watching this, well, if you're watching this, my gosh, what am I doing right now? You guys can win stuff. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment on my YouTube videos, share my YouTube videos into social media, tagging myself or my business page in it. One person every single week is going to win something, so there is that. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. How's that sound? So, can anyone make money with online courses? I feel like at the beginning of the online course industry, at the beginning of it, people were like, that's hard, right? And people that typically don't do it right now are probably looking at it like that's hard because it's something you haven't done. So just think of anything you hadn't done before and you look at it and you're like, I don't know if I can do that. That doesn't seem very easy. Is it worth it to even learn how to do this thing? I mean, how's this even going to work for me, right? Well, first let's talk about the market itself, because I would never suggest getting into something or doing something if there's not truly a market there that's going to help you out, right? So I'm not one of these gurus out here that's going to say, hey, make this thing, but then like, there's no market for it. Crickets chirping. So you made this thing and then now you're just out money, time, and maybe a little bit of confidence, right? So what we need to talk about first is the market itself. In 2019, okay, so that's been, what, a couple years ago now? 2019, the online learning market, business, industry was worth $101 billion with a B, okay? B for beta. $101 billion in 2019. Any guesses as to where it's going, its trajectory for 2025? $325 billion. That's the market, okay? And that was a trajectory that was set before lockdown, okay? So imagine now what the trajectory is. Nobody's actually done the math on it. Nobody's crunched the numbers, or they haven't published those crunched numbers in a way that I can feel comfortable repeating. But 300, I mean, in a conservative space, $325 billion is the market that you're looking at. And you might be like, that's totally cool, but there's probably just a few people that are really going to smash it in that. And I say that's only true if you don't do it. That's the only way to really say it, right? There's only going to be a few people that smash it if you don't jump in. Now, if you decide right now that you're not going to be one of those people that crush it and is able to experience this largest transfer of wealth that our world has ever seen, if you decide that that's not going to be you, then yeah, you're not going to smash it. But if you decide that's going to be me, regardless, here's the deal, regardless of what you even think you're going to make a course about, that's usually people's first hang up. Is, okay, oh my gosh, I can make a course, there's a market for it, awesome, but what can I teach, right? But what can I actually teach? Like, I don't really know anything. I haven't done anything special. My life's pretty normal, kind of boring. I don't really get out a whole lot. I just don't really, there's not much that I know that I can teach. Tell me in the comments if that's you. That's most people. That's how most people think. And it's not right or wrong, but that's how most people think. But also let me tell you the truth, okay? Because that's just your mind. That's just you thinking that you're just like everybody else. All of us think that we're just like everybody else until we get around everybody else and we realize that we're not. Until you are able to look in and be able to find that value, which is precisely what I help you do. If you guys didn't know this, okay. You look in, you find that value, you pull it out, and you be able to help people with it. You're able to help people with it, right? Whenever you start doing that, you're going to realize quickly, whenever you plant your flag and say, I'm doing this thing, you'll realize very quickly how different from everybody else you are, right? I mean, I help people grow multiple income streams from home utilizing stuff that they already know. There are a lot of people that claim to be able to do that. But whenever you come into my world, you realize how very different I am because I know my stuff, I've lived it, I've done it, I continue to do it day by day, right? And then show you guys how to do it. And so I know that I'm very, very different, but it wasn't until I went out, planted my flag, said I'm going to do this thing, that I realized how different I was. Here's a thing that's true of every human being. I believe this, that all of us, because we have our experience of the world, we walk through our days, we wake up, we do our same thing every morning, we have our days, we do our, whatever our tasks are for the day, and every day kind of like runs into the next a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we experience the world in our way. And we know things inherently that flavor our perspective and our view of this world. Now, the thing is, we do not know anybody else's view of the world. We cannot, behind anybody else's eyeballs, inside anybody else's body, can we experience the world and know the things that they know. But because all we know is our experience every day, I hope you guys are following me. Because all we know are our experiences every day, we assume that they're not of value because everybody else experiences the same thing. Does that make sense? We believe that everybody else experiences the same thing. We believe, oh, well, I know this, so everybody else probably knows this, because it's so easy for you. Because it's so obvious. That's a killer word right there. Obvious will kill businesses before they start. Oh, but this is so obvious. Is it? I know a lot of business stuff that's obvious to me that ain't obvious to anybody else. Okay? Oh, but it's so obvious. That will destroy a business from its very first step. Stop using that word when you talk about your business. Oh, but this is so obvious. No, not necessarily. Stop thinking that. It's obvious to you because of what you've been through in your life, because of your experiences, because of your perspective. Right? It's obvious to you because of the skill sets you've been forced to use, the skill sets that you've learned. If you've went to school, if you've been in jobs that have then taught you different things, if you've spent, hours on Google at 2 and 3 in the morning trying to research something, you have accumulated a lot of knowledge, which is now obvious. And it's obvious to you. And the reason that it's obvious to you is precisely the reason that you need to share that with the world. And it's beautiful that we can be able to create courses on things that are so obvious to us. You take any of my programs, it's things that are obvious to me. It's things that obvious didn't stop me. Obvious, I looked at it and I saw it for what it was and I was like, I know it, but other people don't, because I got that. And so you guys watching this, get that, okay? Because then you can be a part of the industry that is growing to conservatively $325 billion by 2025. You could do it. There's 2 different things that I would suggest you jump into if you want to. 3, I guess. If you're not already in my group, Families Creating Legacies, that's a first step. It's free. I have a bunch of trainings in there, okay? The link is in the description of the video. Second step, I have a group where I literally do trainings 3 times a month. There's a fourth one too, and I'll tell you about it. 3 times a month I do trainings, workshop style, so you get things done on how to be able to make money from home. We are in a functional way, and we start this Thursday, making money, okay? In a way that isn't salesy, sleazy, weird, and gross, because I will not do that. I choose not to do that. The world is heading in a different direction, and I am proud to lead the way, all right? And so that'll be the first 3 weeks of the month will be that, okay? Those workshops on how to, like, actual things to do that are going to bring in income into your family. The fourth week, I'm going to go over a different income stream every single month. A different income stream that you can create, that you can implement. I'm going to tell you the best way I could see that implemented. I'm going to say who this works best for, what types of, like, what niches you're in, who this works best for. I do that every single month as well. And of course, there's going to be, you know, speakers coming in to talk about PR and visibility and getting on stages and blogs and podcasts and all of that stuff as well, you guys. That is in the description of this video as well, the link for that. It's called the Changemaker's Den, all right? I would jump in that. It's ridiculously inexpensive. The reason that it's ridiculously inexpensive is because I'm taking it to the streets, y'all. I don't care. I'm about to just disrupt this entire industry. I'm tired of the charlatans. I'm tired of the coaches that teach stuff that they really aren't teaching. They're regurgitating other people's content. And by the time they regurgitate that content, the content doesn't even work anymore because everybody else has already done it, but they don't realize it because they just started doing it. It's a whole gross thing. And so what I'm teaching you guys is cutting edge. Here's what works now, because it changes, and then it changes, and then it changes, and then it changes. And you need to know what works now. How to be able to bring it in now, right? Not what worked before. I'm seeing some people on my feed right now and I've got like big question marks because I'm like, y'all are doing something that is old. That don't even work anymore and y'all are wasting a little bit of time. And I'm not even going to tell them. I'm just going to let them figure it out on their own because they didn't ask me. So there's that. But anyway, so there's that. And then also, the system, I mean, if you guys haven't jumped into HBR yet, I strongly suggest HBR at some point. It's a little bit higher of a price point, but that I would jump into HBR at some point if you want to. So that's the whole system itself for, you know, creating multiple income streams from home, utilizing stuff that you already know in about 5 to 10 hours a week. That's the system itself. But Changemaker's Den, if you can't do anything else, you need to be in there. Let's change things for you. Let's bring your husband home from work. Let's bring you home from work. Let's experience a life like you've never had before, and it's very real, okay? Very, very real. Where am I at on my time? Light bulb moment. Ooh, I like that. Great idea. Heck yeah. Cindy, our point of view on life is so valuable to creating courses. Heck yeah. Excited for Thursday. Yes, me too. Me too. Alicia, I'm excited too. Yes! Yeah, Alicia is doing some really cool stuff. Shoshana, workshop. Yes. I mean, this is how we roll, guys. We're not playing around. We're not playing around. I'm done. Gloves are off. Gloves are off, guys. We live in a world where we have to take control of our family's destiny. We have to take control of not just us and our kids and creating, financial gain for us and our kids. We now need to be looking into generational legacy. We now need to be looking into making money that then trickles down to them and trickles down to them and trickles down to them, and have your great grandkids say, my great grandma was the one that took a stand and made this happen for my family. She was the one that picked herself up by the bootstraps and she made it happen. She was fearless and she made it happen, and she's the reason that the whole family survived. You guys, this is truth. I love you guys. I'm popping out of here. Bye-bye.